Good morning. Like you said, my name is Tim Baldwin. I am the Emergency Management Director for the city of Raymore, Missouri. Now, if you don't know where Raymore is about a half an hour south of Kansas City, population of about 25,000. I've been in this job for about 2.5 years. I'm also a department of one. It's just me. Maybe some of you can relate to that out there. This is also my first job in emergency management. A lot of the emergency managers that I work with, they have prior experience as a police officer or a firefighter or public health, some sort of experience in handling a crisis. I don't have that. I had kind of a roundabout different path to get to this job. And so when I started, there were many days early on where I was a little bit unsure of myself, a little bit lost, just because I didn't know what to do. I didn't really have that relevant experience that I could draw from. A lot of you can get together and talk for hours about the emergencies that you've led, the decisions you made, the lessons you've learned, and that's great. And then there are people that don't really have any stories like that to tell just because they haven't lived it yet, and that's okay too. So this morning I wanted to talk primarily to those people, the people that might be brand new to the field, just out of college, or just don't have that experience that some of the more seasoned people in this room have. So I wanted to briefly share 9 tips that I found helpful as I kind of got settled into this role. So number 1, introduce yourself to anybody in your community that you can think of. When I started, I sent emails introducing myself to all of our schools, our churches, businesses, nonprofits, hospitals, retirement communities, utility companies, veterinary clinics, members of the media, anybody that you can think of. I just reached out, introduced myself, said I'm here to help, and I found that relationship building very early on was very beneficial. Number 2, find at least a few people in your organization that you can really rely on. Again, this is really important if you're a small department, a department of one. So in my case, I rely a lot on our assistant city manager, our police chief, and our public works director. Your situation is going to be different, of course, but try to find even just a couple of people that can kind of be your inner circle. Number 3, don't be afraid to take initiative and try new things. When I first started, I kept waiting for all this training to come on how to be an emergency manager and kind of what to do on a day-to-day basis, and that training never really came. So I had to kind of figure out on my own what it meant to be an emergency manager for my town. So don't be afraid to just try things, throw things against the wall, and see what sticks. Number 4, be able to define what you do. A lot of people out there don't really know what an emergency manager does, and sometimes we have a hard time explaining it. There was a session here at the conference a couple of years ago, my first conference, and the session was all about different metaphors to explain what an emergency manager does. One of them was that an emergency manager is kind of like the ringmaster at a circus, or the stage manager at a Broadway play. One that I can relate to, if you know the show Paw Patrol, the kid from Paw Patrol is kind of like the emergency manager of the Paw Patrol. So as silly as that sounds, I think those things kind of help us understand what our purpose is. Number 5, set expectations for the people you serve. In my case, I serve the people of Raymore, so communicate with them what your office can and can't do before, during, and after a disaster. That way there's hopefully as few surprises as possible. Number 6, set priorities. Your to-do list might seem at times like it's 50 items long, and it might very well be. But try to the best you can, I know this is easier said than done, try to limit your daily immediate to-do list to 3 to 5 items. And then once you do those, you can add more from that longer list. Again, that's especially true if you're a small department, but I think if you focus on the 50 items, it'll overwhelm you. Number 7, it's okay to have slow days. Just because we deal with emergencies doesn't mean everything we do has to be urgent. It's okay to have days where you just answer emails or do some simple things around the office, put aside the big projects for a day. Those days are helpful, they're healthy for you, and they're necessary. So again, the best you can, try to find time for those slow days. Number 8, understand that your first big disaster response is probably not going to go very well. In fact, the way that I heard it put here at the conference, either last year or the year before, was your first disaster response is going to suck. And I think that's probably true. Whether you've been in the job for 6 months or 6 years, the first time you have that big response that you have to coordinate, it might not go very well, and that's okay. Just try to learn from it, And I think it's true in this job that the only way to get experience is by getting experience. And then finally, number 9, remember that you were hired for a reason. Whoever hired you, whoever assigned you to be the emergency manager, probably did so because you have skills that would be helpful in a crisis. So try to remember that and try to have some confidence. So to wrap up, again, if you're brand new to the field, just out of college, or just don't have the experience that a lot of your colleagues have, I promise that's okay. Let's just all continue to help each other and have each other's backs, and I know that I'm in a room full of great people that will do just that. Thank you.